Hello, I'm Alyssa Nadworny, and you're listening to NPR's Book of the Day. A tragedy, a love story, a story about ghosts and revenge, and also a lyrical homage to New York City. Elegy in Blue, the latest novel from writer Mark Helprin, is hard to define. Perhaps that's because, as Helprin tells Weekend Edition's Scott Simon, in many ways, the book is autobiographical.
This message comes from Mint Mobile. If you're tired of spending hundreds on big wireless bills, bogus fees, and free perks, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/switch. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Carvana. Carvana believes selling your car should be refreshingly simple. Enter your license plate or VIN, get a real offer down to the penny, and schedule a pickup on your time. No surprises. Sell your car today at Carvana.com. Pickup fees may apply. This message comes from Lisa. From night one, you'll feel the difference. Premium materials that deliver serious comfort and full body support. Go to Lisa.com for 25% off mattresses, plus get an extra $50 off with promo code NPR.
The unnamed narrator of Mark Helprin's new novel, Elegy in Blue, says his allegiance is to ghosts. Loved ones he has lost in an epical life in which we meet him at the age of 82, living in a subsidized studio apartment with an expansive view that runs from Brooklyn's rooftops to the sky and to the sea, and the narrative is interspersed with insights that stand above the story in their depiction of New York. Mark Helprin, the #1 New York Times bestselling author of The Oceans and the Stars and Winter's Tale, joins us in our studios. Thanks so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
How did this man of wealth and standing, surrounded by love, wind up alone in a kind of crow's nest apartment in Brooklyn?
Well, when I was a senior in college, my thesis was on Hamlet. The title was Love in a Time of Violence. And this narrator, who was born in 1940, lost his father in the war. And then he was a grunt in Vietnam, had a 6-hour surgery without anesthesia. And then his son was killed in the Second Gulf War, and his wife was killed in a terrorist incident. So that alone is enough to shake your foundations. But for killing the terrorist who killed his wife on the spot, he was villainized and ostracized and sued. His house was burned down. He lost everything, and he ended up on the docks in Brooklyn without shoes, with his feet cut, delirious with fever, infected, in his clothing in shreds like a homeless person, which is what he was. That's how he got there. But I have to say that the trajectory of the book is kind of like a whale. The whale dives down into the darkness, into the cold, and then something turns it around, and it powers up like a rocket and then breaches the surface into the blue sky with foam and everything like that. And that's the trajectory of the book.
Well, tell us about the love of his life, Claire.
Her name was Claire Kennedy, and she's modeled on my wife. In many ways, the book is autobiographical. And in fact, the dedication of the book says, she knows very well for whom this was written.
I wondered if that was your...
Yeah. But she's a lawyer, as my wife was a lawyer with a law firm and Rockefeller Center. And when they meet, it's because he's just founded his investment banking firm. They need a lawyer, and he goes to her office. That's what the lawyer that they're assigned to. It's her first case.
A terrible event of violence that takes his wife from him and I guess we can fairly say ruins his life. Why doesn't he just go to some small town in Maine and watch the ships go by? Why does he stay in New York?
Well, I can sort of answer that in a personal way, which is that then will reverberate and slap me in the face, which is that, like me, that's where his mother and father and grandparents lived and were born and died. That's where he met his wife and married her. That's where his son was born. He can see in it answers to things because there's so much in it. I've always thought that of New York, and because it is the city that is my home, was my home before I left. And no, he would never leave and go to Maine. He would. In fact, when my wife and I, a long time ago, 30 years ago, left New York, we went to Seattle. We wanted to live in Seattle. And we just couldn't hack it because it wasn't home. So we returned, and he wouldn't leave.
Story takes on another dimension when the unnamed narrator catches Javier, one of the supers in his building, weeping by the garbage cans.
Yeah, Javier is a porter. The cartel wants his 15-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. His 8-year-old son has been recruited because of the gift of an iPhone to be a messenger in the drug trade. And he says if he fights them, they'll kill him. If he flees, they'll find him because he says they're everywhere, and they are everywhere. And if they didn't find me, they would kill my people in Mexico, my family in Mexico. So he's completely stuck, and he doesn't know what to do.
Why does he choose to get that? And when you say get him unstuck, we're not talking about just writing a letter of recommendation.
No.
I won't describe what he goes through, but I was left with an idea that whatever the hazards, it gave him a new sense of purpose.
He sees this as a way to do good, to help this guy and his family, and also as a way to help himself. But on the other hand, there's also something else, which is how can he not do it? How can he not protect this family, which is going to be completely destroyed in the most horrible way? And he knows it, and he has the means to stop it.
For all your love of and eloquence about New York, you're a farmer.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, they actually had a dairy farm in New York within the city limit.
I've heard about this, yes.
Yeah. I have a farm in Virginia. New York was I guess, too much for me in my old age, and I am now bucolic. It's very, very hard stuff. People don't know how hard it is to farm.
Does the farming nourish or get in the way of your writing?
No, it certainly doesn't get in the way, and it doesn't nourish. It's neither. It does take time, and it is tiring, but I would be the happiest person in the world, and I almost am, if all I had to do every day was work on the farm and write.
Mark Helprin, his latest novel is Elegy in Blue. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
This message comes from Bombas. Your feet hit the ground an average of 2,000 times in a mile. Bombas sports socks are designed to support you every step. Sprint to bombas.com/NPR and use code NPR for 20% off your first purchase. This message comes from Mint Mobile. If you're tired of spending hundreds on big wireless bills, bogus fees, and free perks, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/switch. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. This message comes from Capella University. That spark you feel? That's your drive for more. Capella University's FlexPath learning format lets you earn your degree at your pace without putting life on pause. Learn more at capella.edu.